Welcome, curious minds, to Artificially Literate. I'm really glad you could join us for this deep dive. This is where we love to take compelling ideas, stories, films, books, and just kind of unravel them, looking for those, those aha moments that shift your perspective a little.
Exactly. We're all about helping you reflect, learn, maybe see things in a new light. We try to distill complex stuff into clear, insightful takeaways.
And today we're diving into something particularly fascinating. Our subject is The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden audiobook. But here's the twist, and it's a really interesting one.
Hmm.
We're not actually diving into the plot or the characters today, because as we're looking at it right now, the audiobook, it's still loading. It literally says loading book, estimated duration,
Mm.
0.00000.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a story that hasn't quite started yet.
Precisely. So our mission today isn't about unpacking the story itself, but more about the whole act of engaging with a narrative now in this modern age, especially through audio. We're asking what happens, what meanings pop up even before the story actually begins.
So focusing on the anticipation, the format, the title, all the stuff that comes before page one or minute one in this case.
Exactly. We're going to look at the layers of implication that come just from a title, an author, and that simple status, loading. What does it really mean to be on the threshold of a story? Let's get into it.
Sounds fascinating. Where do we start?
Okay. Let's kick off with the format itself. Engaging with a book primarily through sound. I mean, audiobooks are huge now, right? They're not niche anymore. For a lot of people, it's how they read.
Oh, absolutely. It's become a primary mode of consumption for literature. And The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden audiobook is a perfect example. It's presented to us not as paper, not as text on a screen, but as, well, sound.
So what does that do to the experience? Relying just on hearing.
Well, it fundamentally shifts your sensory engagement. You're entirely reliant on the narrator's voice, their pacing, their tone, how they interpret the emotions. That becomes your only window into the world.
Right. No visuals. You can't skim back easily or linger on a sentence with your eyes.
Exactly. It's a linear flow. It just keeps coming at you, which often makes it feel more passive compared to physically turning pages, highlighting, that kind of active reading.
Passive. Okay. But does that passive reception change our connection? Like, do we get less analytical maybe? Or does it pull us in deeper somehow?
That's the interesting paradox, isn't it? It can foster a really deep immersive connection because your mind is doing all the work of visualizing, building the world purely from sound.
Ah, okay. So your imagination is maybe working harder in some ways?
You could say that. It's a bit like listening to a really good storyteller,
Yeah.
or an old radio play. It can feel incredibly intimate, almost like the story is being told just for you. That narrator's voice becomes this very personal guide.
Intimate. I like that. And it fits how people use audiobooks, doesn't it? Commuting, chores, exercise,
Yeah,
multitasking.
definitely. It transforms reading into something that fits around life
Yeah.
rather than demanding you stop everything else.
But I wonder, does that multitasking, that seamless integration maybe, dilute the experience a bit? Like, are you less likely to stop and really grapple with a tricky sentence or a complex idea if you're also, chopping onions?
That's a very fair point. That continuous flow, which is part of the appeal, means you probably are less likely to pause and dissect the prose,
Mm.
analyze the sentence structure or word choices like you might with a physical book.
Mm-hmm.
So it might lead to a connection that's more focused on the overall plot and the emotional journey, maybe less on the granular details of the text itself. Our brains just process auditory information differently than visual text.
Yeah.
It impacts things like retention and exactly how we engage.
Which brings us right back to this specific situation, the housemaid's secret being stuck on loading book, estimated duration, 0.0000000. This isn't just a glitch, is it? It feels, well, metaphorical, like it represents something more than just waiting for data.
Oh, absolutely. It perfectly embodies anticipation, that moment right before the reveal. It's pure potential energy, isn't it? The story exists somewhere, but it's not here yet.
It's like knowing a gift is behind a door, but the door is locked. Your mind just starts racing. What could it be?
Exactly. What expectations start building just from that title and the author's name? Our brains are pattern completion machines, right? We automatically start trying to fill in the blanks, sketching out possibilities. Imagination runs wild because it's not constrained by the actual story yet.
And that feels quite profound, philosophically speaking. Is the journey to the story, the anticipation, sometimes as important as the story itself? That loading state is like Schrodinger's narrative. It could be anything.
It really speaks to the power of delayed gratification, doesn't it? In our instant access world, being forced to wait actually heightens the experience. It makes you value what's coming more.
And the 0.000 duration.
That's the ultimate blank slate. No clues about length, about the commitment, just potential. It echoes older forms of storytelling, like waiting for the next chapter in a serialized novel or listening to an oral storyteller build suspense. The gap, the promise, is potent.
So with nothing but the title and author, we're forced to engage with the idea of the story, not the substance.
Precisely. Which puts enormous weight on the title itself. It becomes the primary hook, the only concrete thing we have.
Right, and what a hook. The Housemaid's Secret. Just those 3 words. What does that immediately make you think?
Well, it's fascinating how much work those words do. Instantly you think mystery or domestic thriller. That's the genre signal, loud and clear.
Definitely.
But it also hints at themes, introduces a character type, the housemaid, and sets up a core conflict, the secret. It's like a tiny narrative bomb waiting to go off. It's incredibly effective titling. It just screams intrigue.
Titles really are like promises, aren't they? Little condensed essences of the story. This one immediately makes you think of hidden lives, maybe secrets within a wealthy household, maybe danger. You start sketching scenarios.
Exactly. It sets a specific mood. You know you're probably entering a world where things aren't what they seem on the surface. It promises suspense, hidden truths.
Let's break it down more. The housemaid. That word alone is loaded.
Oh, incredibly loaded. Socially, historically. The housemaid is often this figure who is simultaneously intimate and invisible. They're in the private space, but often on the periphery, overlooked.
Part of the furniture, almost.
Sort of, yeah. They see everything, the family dynamics, the unspoken tensions, the routines, potentially the secrets, but are expected to be silent observers. This immediately brings up ideas about power dynamics, class, unseen labor. What's going on behind that professional facade?
And it raises that question, who's really watching whom? The maid sees everything, but is she truly seen? What happens when someone traditionally invisible holds a secret, something important?
That's the core tension right there. Her position gives her unique access and a degree of invisibility. It makes her the perfect person to either stumble upon or deliberately hold on to a secret. Think of classic literature. The observant servant often knows more than anyone. Their supposed powerlessness becomes a kind of narrative power.
Okay, and then the second key word, secret.
Ah, yes, secret. Universally compelling. Why are we so drawn to secrets in life and stories?
It's like an itch you have to scratch, isn't it?
It really is. Secrets mean something is hidden, and humans are inherently curious. We want to know what's concealed. There's the thrill of discovery, the potential danger, the consequences of revelation. Secrets drive plots. They motivate characters. They create suspense. They tap into fundamental things about trust, deception, and the desire for truth.
So when you put housemaid and secret together, the possibilities just explode. Is it her secret? A secret about her employers? Something she saw, something she did.
And the title cleverly doesn't tell us. That ambiguity is its strength. It promises suspense, maybe some social commentary, definitely character depth, all before we've heard a single line. It hooks you with the potential for something hidden, possibly dangerous, lurking beneath a seemingly ordinary surface.
It really shows how much meaning we can pull even from the title, which is
Yeah.
kind of what we love doing here at Artificially Literate, taking these bits of information and seeing what depths we can find. And hey, if you enjoy this kind of deep dive, you can find Artificially Literate on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Definitely give us a follow if you like unpacking ideas like this. Now, thinking about quotes, obviously, with the book still loading, we can't pull a direct line from Freida McFadden's text right now. But if we were to imagine the essence of what this title suggests, it feels like it would be about that hidden observation, right?
Yes, the power of the unseen witness.
Maybe something like, some truths exist only in the quiet spaces, seen by eyes that no one truly notices. It captures that feeling, that potential, even if it's not from the book itself.
That works well. It speaks to the core theme suggested by the title.
Okay, stepping back a bit, let's think bigger picture. Why are secrets such a powerful engine in storytelling generally, across all genres, all time periods?
Well, fundamentally, secrets are conflict, or at least the potential for conflict. They create immediate stakes. Someone knows something others don't, or someone is trying to hide something. That generates tension.
Right, it gives characters motivation to find the secret, to protect it, to use it.
Exactly. And it drives the plot forward. The entire narrative arc often revolves around the eventual revelation of the secret and its consequences. Think about it. Mystery, thriller, drama, even romance often hinge on hidden information or past events coming to light. It taps into that basic human desire for resolution, for finding out the truth.
It's almost like secrets are a metaphor for, well, for the unknown aspects of life itself, right? The things hidden beneath the surface, the private realities behind public faces. They force us to question what seems obvious.
That's a great way to put it. They challenge our perception of reality. And the act of uncovering a secret in a story mimics our own drive to understand the world, to make sense of things that are hidden or confusing. It plays into our need for closure, our sense of justice sometimes, and just the pure intellectual satisfaction of solving a puzzle.
And, of course, behind this title, there's the author Freida McFadden. Even without the text, her name carries weight, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Especially in this genre, an author like McFadden builds a reputation. Her name on the cover signals a certain kind of experience. You know you're likely getting a twisty, fast-paced psychological thriller, probably set in a domestic sphere with secrets piled on secrets.
It's like a brand promise.
Exactly. It says expectations.
Yeah.
Readers who enjoy her work know, roughly, what they're in for: suspense, maybe an unreliable narrator, a big reveal. So her name actually adds to that feeling of anticipation we've been talking about. It's not just a secret. It's a Freida McFadden secret, which primes you for a particular style of intrigue.
This whole conversation, starting just from loading book and a title, it really highlights what we try to do here on Artificially Literate,
How so?
Well, that a deep dive doesn't always need the full text laid out. Sometimes exploring the implications, the context, the anticipation, the idea of the story that provides its own kind of knowledge, its own aha moment.
Absolutely. Analyzing the title, the author's reputation, the format, the audiobook experience, it enriches our understanding of storytelling as a whole process.
Yeah.
It shows that critical thinking isn't just for the finished product. It applies to how we encounter and anticipate narratives even before they begin. There's depth even in the waiting.
So maybe the final thought for you, our listener, is this. What does our collective fascination with a title like The Housemaid Secret, even before we know the story, tell us about ourselves? About our fundamental need for narrative, for discovery, for uncovering hidden truths.
And it raises that interesting question, too. How much of a story's power, its impact, is already baked into that promise, into the anticipation it builds? Even before the first word is actually spoken or read, is the potential sometimes even more gripping than the eventual reveal.
And since we still can't draw a final quote directly from the loading book, let's capture that thought, the power of the unsaid promise. Maybe something like, the deepest secrets are not those told, but those merely glimpsed in the quiet spaces between words. A thought to hold on to.
A perfect place to pause.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this rather unique, artificially literate deep dive exploring the anticipation around The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden audiobook. It's been really interesting thinking about stories before they happen.
Hopefully it's given you some food for thought about how we all engage with narratives in this modern, often audio-driven world.
Remember to check out our other deep dives on Artificially Literate, wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Hit that follow button if you enjoyed this, and please stay tuned for our next exploration. There's always more to learn, more to ponder.
Absolutely. The discovery never really ends.